Auhea oko e nā kupa o ka aina, e nā kāko'o, e nā hoa, nā malihini, e me nā hoa paio. Aloha nui kākua pauloa. Ea no mākou nā kia'i o ka Maunakea. E ku ana ia ne'i ka lā kanaha kumalima o keia ku kia'i mauna ana. Hello everybody, we are here, the kia'i of Maunakea, on day 45, and we have some updates for you folks today.
This morning at approximately 7:15, we had a group of 6 Department of Hawaiian Homelands beneficiaries attempt to assert their right to access Hawaiian Homelands and Maunakea Access Road for the purpose of hunting, gathering, ceremony and religious rites. Their access was denied at the cattle guard checkpoint by the Department of Land and Natural Resources Conservation Enforcement officers. Branch Chief Kamakau informed us that they could not allow anyone up the road because they were there to restrict access. So we had to turn around 6 beneficiaries, and immediately after that, we had approximately a dozen astronomers, astronomy technicians, maintenance folks who accessed Maunakea Access Road with full and free access. Here we have some of the beneficiaries standing behind us who were denied access up the Access Road.
Devin Kaikino, beneficiary, denied. And Michael Glendon, beneficiary, denied access this morning.
Ihitu Keeling, beneficiary, denied this morning.
Scott Spencer, speaking on the Spencer Ohana beneficiary, got denied today.
And so, in this exchange that we had with the police, which was a peaceful and respectful exchange on both sides, we were able to ask some questions that perhaps may bring some clarity and some answers to the situation, as we know that this road has been closed for well over 40 days now. And so the first question that we asked was whether or not this road is indeed closed. And we were told the road is not closed. Access is just restricted. And so we followed that up with another question: who is allowed access and who's restricted access, or who's not given access? And so we were told that those who are allowed access are telescope employees, whether they're astronomers, whether they're technicians, maintenance workers, whatever the case may be. All telescope employees are allowed access. All halepohaku workers are allowed access, and all law enforcement officers are allowed access. And so we followed up that question with another one: why is the road closed, or why is access restricted? And for that question, we were not able to gather any clear information. The best answer we got was that they don't know. So whoever is making these decisions to close this road or to restrict access is not passing that on to the law enforcement officers who are here to uphold that. And so another question that we asked was, by what authority does the Dole Care officers, officers of the Department of Land and Natural Resources who have been stationed here at the cattle guard behind us for, again, about 45 days or so, by what authority are they enforcing this limited and restricted access? And they were told, we were told, that they are restricting this based upon the authority given to them by the Department of Transportation. However, we informed them that we know, based on current and recent news that have come out in the past week or so, that this road is not in fact owned by the Department of Transportation. It is property, in a sense. It is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. And we know that there was an agreement made in 1995 that called for a land swap and a payment of $5 million in order for the Department of Transportation to take control of this road. And we also know that that agreement was never fulfilled. And because of that, language in that letter, that agreement says that any failure to uphold the agreement would cause that so-called agreement to become null and void. And so we know that it is in fact the Department of Hawaiian Homelands who has jurisdiction over this road. And when we informed them of that, we asked the same question: if that is indeed the case, by what authority are you restricting access here? And at that point, they responded to us that they have that there's an MOU, a memorandum of understanding between the Department of Hawaiian Homelands and the County of Hawaii, and it is that memorandum of understanding that gives them, in a sense, the power to enforce this limited and restricted access. But there are some questions that should be raised with that, because we should ask, who signed that memorandum of agreement, that memorandum of understanding? Was it the chair? Did they consult with the commissioners? And did they go beyond that and consult with the beneficiaries? And do we know for a fact that this memorandum of understanding is being upheld and implemented according to the best, according to the interests and the needs of the beneficiaries? So those are questions that are unclear, but we were able to garner that information today based on the exchange that we had. And we also, in this exchange, had some representation from the United Nations Human Rights Network, and they have an update for us as well today.
My name is Rosalie Gonzalez, and I address you as the Executive Director of the U.S. Human Rights Network. We're a nonprofit NGO made up of 300 national member organizations from civil society across the United States. We work on multiple human rights issues across this country. We're here as human rights observers, working closely with our partners at the United Nations to identify and address human rights violations within the U.S. We're here to support the Kanaka Maoli and report on the human rights violations we've observed, including what we observed this morning. This morning, I witnessed 6 vehicles of indigenous peoples and 1 group of elders walking on foot, each denied access to Maunakea Access Road, the only road that leads to Maunakea Mountain. We believe that human rights violations are occurring here, including violations of the standards set by the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Indigenous peoples. The United States, including the states of Hawaii, is obligated to respect the cultural and religious customs of indigenous Hawaiians. We have been in communication with the governor and the mayor after circulating a petition against the construction of the 30-meter telescope project on Maunakea, Sacred Mountains, signed by over 50 national civil society organizations, academic institutions, and indigenous groups around the world. I've requested a meeting with Governor Ihe and look forward to his office's response. The U.S. Human Rights Network will be supporting the protectors in order for them to engage with the United Nations systems, and we will be reaching out to UN special procedures, which include special rapporteurs and working groups regarding this issue. We will continue to stand in solidarity with the indigenous people of Hawaii and demand that their rights be respected. Thank you.
And my name is Salima Hankins, and I'm the Deputy Director of the U.S. Human Rights Network, and I work with Rosalie, and we will be sure to keep you updated if we have any additional information. Thank you.
Would also like to point out that as of yet, Department of Land and Natural Resources Enforcement, DoCare Enforcement has yet to produce the MOU that they're talking about, have yet to provide any written documentation via this MOU that gives them jurisdiction and authority to control and restrict access on Maunakea Access Road.
And in closing, we just want to mahalo our friends, our kako'o from the U.S. Human Rights Network for their support, for being here with us to document, to witness, and to observe what's happening. And we also mahalo those all throughout Hawaii, all throughout the world who continue to stand with us. As always, we remain committed, we remain organized, and our commitment is to protecting Mauna Kea, and we will protect it in Kapua Aloha in a way of peace and non-violence. We will not waver from that, and we ask all of our supporters to make that same commitment that we've made over the past 45 days and that we will continue to make into the future. So mahalo to everybody for tuning in, and talk to you guys later. Mahalo.
Mahalo.